and a lot of advertisers shy away from advertising on a pro wrestling program, as we've seen, in the past. So, it'll be interesting to see if they do eventually launch a Wednesday night TV show here, and if so, which network that would be on.
It would be nice, call it like Wrestling Challenge. I mean, you might as well bring something back from the past, just like Superstars. You have Superstars and you have Wrestling Challenge with Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, old school, huh? Old.
Yeah, I'm throwing it back.
Hey, WWE signed a new diva, actually a couple new divas. Rachel Carr was one of those. She's a Briton, and she's a model and a dancer, and she's done body double work for Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. Have you seen Rachel yet?
No, I have not. I've read about it, but I have not. I was trying to go online and do some research on her just to get an idea how she looks, because, I mean, she's like a stunt double for these females, celebrities. So it's interesting that they're going to bring, a female stunt double from one of those celebrities into the WWE. Of course, if she completes her courses and they feel that she has the stuff to make it to one of the big shows.
You said you wanted to look at some pictures of her. Let me get a cheap plug right here real quick. For WZROnline.com, we've got put up 23 photos of her earlier today. They're about, by this point in the day, I'd say they're about 10 headlines down. Or just go to WZROnline.com and click the top tab there, Image Galleries, and we've got 23 photos of her over there that we put up today, and she's a good-looking girl, my man. She's a good.
Does she look like Britney?
No, but they put on the wigs and they put on all the backup dancers put on all that stuff. She's a natural blonde, but there's some photos up there where she's kind of dressed up like Christina Aguilera with the when she had black hair back in the day. So you can check out photos of basically her look-alike of Britney Spears. Doesn't really look anything like Britney or Christina. Well, Christina looks kind of but not really like Britney. But she's a very good-looking girl for sure. WZROnline.com, cheap plug for those photos. The other diva that they signed is an indie worker based out of New Jersey, where you are. She goes by the stage name of Miss April. Real name is April Jeanette, and she's been signed to a developmental contract. Both of these new divas have been signed to developmental contracts. So it'll be interesting to see if they get called up. Angela Fong worked house shows this weekend, so I would expect her to be called up pretty soon, although they're putting developmental talent on house shows to give them that exposure in front of a live audience before they actually put them on TV. So it could just be a few weeks where she's on live events, and then she'll go back down to SCW for more training. But they like to do that. They like to bring up.
It's interesting because in recent weeks, John, I always botch his last name, Luganis or Luganis or whatever.
Lugana?
Yeah, there you go. The individual that deals with WWE talent has been getting a lot of heat based on the lack of talent.
Laurinaitis deals with most of that. I mean, that's talent relations right there. Dave is more of on the creative aspect of things.
Right. John, that's exactly. And he's been getting a lot of heat because of that, because there's really not that clear of a strong talent right now that they feel comfortable with, like a John Cena. So he's getting a little heat on that. So I think one of the reasons why they said, hey, let's throw some of these guys on house shows, non-televised events, but, in front of 8,000 to 9,000 people to see what type of reaction that kind of end up. And it's a good thing, because it's really, they need to start spicing things back up, and that will lead us, obviously, to our discussion on Monday Night Raw in a bit.
Well, they're trying to spice things up, like you just said. I mean, last night on Raw, a lot of new talents that are coming in, especially The Miz, And I like what they're doing with The Miz, just because you're putting a young talent like that somebody that hasn't got a major push, and this is 3 weeks in a row that he's came out, and they've basically put him in a mini program, nothing on a pay-per-view or anything like that, but it gets the rub, you know what I mean? And it's awesome to see that already in his career, as big of a name as John Cena is, that he's already able to elevate a younger star such as The Miz, you know what I mean? And John Cena is a young gun himself, you know what I mean? And for him to be able to be in a mini feud with The Miz right now, I think is great. Miz, you know, last night I loved it 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago it was all right, and then last night it was on and off. You know what I mean? He was good. The one line last night where he said, "I am The Miz and I'm awesome." That was awesome. I mean, that was great. Come on, man, that was funny. What?
Well,
come on, dude. Come on.
Here's the thing with The Miz, with me. He never got over with me. I mean, I give the dude the much props of going through the system and you know, going in and saying, you know what, I want to become a wrestler, and he did. You know, now he's in the biggest show out of all of them, which of course is Monday Night Raw, and
a huge push.
Yeah, and they're giving him the platform. Here's my worry: once you bring, let's say, The Miz, and you bring him in, you put him right up there in the biggest, you know, it's probably his biggest feud in his career against John Cena. Here's my problem with that: he will lose at the end of the day, and once he loses, he may just simply fall back in the shuffle. You know, I'd rather see a talent come in and work slow. So this way, fans develop a fan base, continue developing a fan base with him. They believe in him. They have trust in him. You know, to bring him in.
Not with a heel, but I know what you bring him in, you start him at the mid-card status, have him beat those guys, and then cap it off with John Cena at the end. You know what I mean? You just don't go right into John Cena.
No, because it's at the end of the day, you know, Miz has won now 3 weeks in a row, according to him. You know, and then eventually, you know, Cena's going to get his revenge, and once he gets his revenge, then what? You know what I mean? It's like you had him talk smack about Cena. It's like you almost kind of lose a little bit of credibility. You know, I mean, if they put on a hell of a match, you know, or like a really like, whoa, like I couldn't believe The Miz. Like if he impresses people, even if he loses, then it's a different story. Because then you can follow up with that and say, wow, that's cool. But I have a feeling, knowing how WWE books their stuff, is the day and time when John Cena gets his revenge, he's going to destroy The Miz.
But you've got to agree that even though right now, I mean, they've got the guy in this mini feud with Cena. I mean, he's getting some sort of rub right now. Even if he drops down to the mid card, he's still got this.
Oh,
rub.
Absolutely. There are wrestlers to this day that will die to where The Miz is at right now. So I think it's almost a reward, like from Vince giving the rub to The Miz on the fact that what The Miz have done since entering into the organization.
Yeah.
And he's one of the most dedicated guys in there. So, I mean, if there's anyone that deserves it, it should be him. But that's just my only kind of like my scareness, I guess, even if that's a word, about his performance. Is he needs to make sure, how they end up booking this, that they let them wrestle. They let them wrestle for a good 10 minutes. Let The Miz, you know, take the offensive and defensive and really just maintain with John Cena and lose. Because then if that's the case, then it's like, whoa, all right, now not only do you have The Miz, who kind of stayed in the same line with John Cena, but now you also have The Miz, who can now become a major heel. You can move away from John Cena and put him with MVP or put him to somewhere else. And I think that's probably, hopefully, that's where I'm crossing my fingers, that it will end up being that way, not just Cena coming in, getting his revenge in 30 seconds, squashing The Miz, and then you lose credibility.
That's true. You lose credibility, but you still got a rub. But I see what you're saying, where he just go back into, you know, just another nobody. But I think he's got all the potential in the world, especially with the mic skills. I think the mic skills have been on par. Not superb or anything over the past few weeks, but they've been on par where this guy can go somewhere. You know, this guy can be a good heel and make the people want to hate him. And you got to give him credit. I mean, this guy was a former reality show, you know, cast member on